All right. Today, what we got in front of us, as we can see, we got a Smith & Wesson M&P. This came in as a transfer for a customer. But one of the big differences from a normal M&P Shield, we got a 2.0 with the integrated green laser. So this is one of the brand new offerings or brand new versions of the wildly successful Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. So I figured we'd look at this as it is different. So let's get our time started, and we'll go now. All right. So obviously same packaging as any other Shield, same little weird little blue bag. As soon as we take it out of there, we can see we got our special Crimson Trace laser equipped doodad on there. We got our chamber flag in there. Let's just totally clear it out. We got our 8-round mag in there. So this is the M&P 9 or Shield 9mm. This version does in fact have the thumb safety on here. That's just the model they ordered. You'll see plenty of talk about the thumb safety on any of the Shield models being hard to actuate. Like anything, you just got to train it. It's not a big paddle like you could have a 1911. That does feel like it's smoothed up from previous versions of the M&P though, where I can pretty easily sweep that with my thumb. So that may be something they improved, or it might just be this one that's in my hand right now. Everything else is pretty much the same. You know, it says M 2.0 there. We have the front slide serrations, just like we saw when the 45 came out. It was basically a preview of the 2.0. We now have the 2.0 grip texture. That's also carried over onto the grip extension there. So like we've talked about with all the M&P 2.0 models, the grip I'm a big fan of. It's somewhere in between like grip tape and the old style, so it is much grippier, which is nice. Some people think it's a little too aggressive for like in the waistband or any sort of concealed carry rubbing against their skin. That can easily be remedied if you don't like it by putting like Talon grips on there, or wearing an undershirt between your pistol and your outer layer. There's lots of ways to get around that, but for the feel in the hand, I like it a lot. You know, it's just like, I think the discomfort of it on the hip or on the stomach can be easily avoided or remedied, and its benefit of the grip is just really good. So let's talk about the laser now, because that's really the biggest difference. So instead of a separate light or laser module like you'll see from, well, Crimson Trace or Laser Max, this is already in there, just like the original M&P Bodyguard 380. This is basically an upscaled version of that, where it's molded directly into the frame, so we can't remove it at all. We have buttons on both the left and the right side for actuating that laser, where you can see right at the bottom there. Remember, we have already cleared this here, so when we're pointing this at things. So let's just look at the laser. So green laser. On the screen right now, it doesn't look nearly as bright as it does in real life. The thing with green versus red, this is more visible light, or the green light waves are more visible to the human eye than the red. So during the day, you can see this green laser much better than a red laser. If you have a red laser, give it a try outside, shine it on something, you know, obviously not pointed at anyone or anything at the range, you know, nice and safe. It's hard to see that red laser during daylight, but that green will pop right up. So again, buttons on both sides, press it the second time, and we get that blinking light. Again, more visual pickup, or faster for your eye to pick up that blinking light than a steady light, and then off. So we can actuate it with that trigger finger, which if you'll see here, when my fingers, you know, I draw that from the holster, and that button is naturally in a perfect spot to actuate with that trigger finger. Another option would be that support hand. And again, you can see in a natural firing grip, that thumb points right there. So you really could actuate it with either or. So let's say you've turned it on with that trigger finger, your finger's on the trigger, and now you want to turn it to blinking. You can do that with the thumb, and then turn it off, reholster, whatever you need to do. Almost right at time. Not much else to really say, as this is at its core an M&P Shield. You know, we got our 3-dot sights that can be switched out. Again, we talked about the safety. Trigger, the M&P 2.0 trigger is nicer than it used to be, but it's still an M&P trigger. We all know that's basically the biggest downfall or the biggest complaint about the M&P series, but I know for a fact the M&P 2.0 series, it is improved. Yeah, overall, like any M&P shield, at least in my opinion, well, actually, this is an opinion. These just, they're one of the top sellers there is in its class, plain and simple, and there's a reason for that. It's got a great fit, it's got a great size, it's reliable, it looks good. For most people, it's a really good fit. Even though I have larger hands, I can still get a full grip with a pinky extension on there. Shoots really well. There's almost nothing bad to say about the Shield series other than maybe the trigger. But like I've talked about in other videos, I feel like the trigger should be, for a self-defense gun, not a match trigger like the Apexes you'll see in a competition gun. It should be a little stiffer. Should it's a safety thing as well. Liability, etc., etc. I've talked about it before, but you can check other videos out there. So that's the M&P Shield 9mm 2.0 with integrated green laser from Crimson Trace. So there you go. As always, if you got any questions or comments, please leave them below, or feel free to contact me directly via email. Like, share, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.